Because I have to tell you, as far as I can see, you are already married. What difference is there going to be when you, quote, get married? I have seen people married, and you hear it on request programs all the time. And for my partner who I've been with for 17 years, and we are going to tie the knot next Sunday. We are going to make it official. What do they think they are now? You know, you're going to have a party that you can afford with your daughter as the bridesmaid. How absurd is that? You are already married. I went to a lavish wedding sometime back in London, and the Methodist minister chose to come and speak to me. So I started to talk to him about relationships, and I said, you know, I've got a problem with what you all do. I really do. I said, you know, why don't you all tell people the seriousness of relationships? That when you decide to jump into bed with somebody, you have to regard that person as a lifelong partner. Otherwise, don't jump into the bed with the person. I think the poor guy was a little bit shocked, as you would imagine. But he couldn't answer, because he knew exactly where I was coming on. You know, I'm not promoting immorality or sin. I'm not doing that. In actual fact, if you think about it, I am saying the exact opposite. The television programs promote it. You know, oh, I like this person, I'll be in bed with them. I was at home some time back, and you know, I was with this man, and he, very wealthy man, and you know, saw this very attractive woman. He says, oh, I'm planning to have that girl. You know, I said, oh yes. I said, are you married? He says, no. He said, but I have 8 children. I said, really? Oh, I'm too smart to get married. You know, I thought, really? You know, there are 3 parties involved in a marriage, in a relationship. It's God, the man, and the woman. If all the churches and the pastors and the ministers cease to exist tomorrow, you can still have this relationship between God, the man, and the woman. No middleman is required. But it is still a permanent relationship. You know, it is claimed that many people who live together for many, many years and have children, then subsequently get married, promptly separate. As I've said before, I just wonder if it is because instead of being blessed as they thought, they were actually cursed. I keep saying, Satan's servants have no blessings to give. They can only curse. You can only give what you have. Then we have wrong sex relationships. You know, it's all over the world. It's worldwide now. The clergy are telling us about it. Not only telling us that it's okay, they're doing it themselves. Oh yes. We got homosexual Christians and lesbian ministers, and on it goes. And they've passed the laws that if I say anything negative against them, they can come and lock me up. Oh yes. But much of the judgment you are seeing, look at California. I will mention it again in my next video. Look at all these places with their abominable conduct. Britain. We are going to reap what we have sown. We just can't live the lifestyle of our choice. You know, in Genesis 1:28, God says, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. This command was to Adam and Eve and to their children. The earth had to be populated. The animal kingdom was also told to multiply and increase. Of necessity, there were male and female. It's also important to notice in Genesis 1 that everything was made after its own kind. There was a limit of species on it. Therefore, whales couldn't mate with eagles, or even the octopus in the sea with a porpoise, or a dolphin, and so on. There are strict limits. So when I'm talking about relationships, I'm not talking about just any old relationship. I'm talking about a male-female relationship. Because to go into these other, quote, abnormal, according to the Word of God, relationships, and then they'll call me a fundamentalist, that's fine, call me what you like. Because you don't have to answer to me, I'm just dust, I'm here, I'm gone. You have to answer to the real eternal God, not me. I'm just like a vapor. I'm just here, I'm gone. You find that in Genesis 1, 21 and 22. We won't read it, but you see everything was made after their kind, and they were told, be fruitful and multiply. Now science is trying to blur these lines. So there's big news that a man has given birth to his first child and he's going to have his second one sometime soon. This person was a female who became a male and is now, oh, how awful. You know, if we just have these same-sex relationships, humanity will cease to exist, won't it? And that's what Satan wants. He doesn't care how he kills us, but that's what he wants. He wants us all dead. And this is just another one of the many ways that he is using. You know, when somebody like myself speaks out, the demonic governments and the churches tell us, oh, we should be compassionate and kind and loving and not judging others and treat them politically correct. You know, in China right now, you know, you're permitted to have one child by law. If you have a second one, the chance of you having to abort it is almost 100%. Abortion on demand. You have to have permission to have a child. You know, there's a lot of fuss about abortion. I've got a whole video on abortion, but you know, I won't go into that, but I've got pictures here showing you that at 23 weeks old, these are children. These are children. You know, pedophile activity is just rapidly destroying children so that they can never have stable relationships. That's what happens in the long run. You mess up the minds of the children, and I know many messed up people. A stable relationship is trauma. Trauma to them, if it is at all possible. So we won't go into to this thing on same-sex relationships, except to say in Leviticus 18:22 it says, "Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind."